Oh, my screenshot disappeared. Okay. So we're going to simplify this expression to a plus bi form. So we are multiplying this time, and when you multiply, you actually want to, it's kind of like multiplying polynomials. So you're going to FOIL it. Do you remember foiling? First, outer, inner, last. Hopefully I can write neatly. We're going to FOIL this thing. Okay. So we're going to multiply these first two numbers. Okay, negative 11 times negative 6. So negative times the negative is a positive. So this gives us 66. And then we have the O for outer. So that means we're going to multiply these outer numbers, the ones on the outside. Negative 11 times 7i, that's going to give us negative 77i. And then the I of the FOIL, that's inner. So we're going to do, actually I'm going to just draw on the bottom, makes it neater. We're going to do 5i times negative 6. So that is a negative 30i. There we go. And the L of FOIL stands for last. So you're going to multiply the last numbers of each parentheses piece. So we have 5i times 7i, that's 35. Writing it slowly. I squared, because there's two i's. Okay. Oh, also, I have a question. Have you guys seen what I is? Like, did you learn that in your previous math classes? Yes, okay. Somebody said yes. Great. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. All right, now let's simplify this long piece of thing over here. So we got 66, and then we can combine these two like terms. So minus 77i minus 30i, that's going to give us a total of minus 107, come on, right, I. And then we have plus 35i squared, so that means plus 35. Does anybody remember what I squared is? I'll put it in parentheses.
Is it -1?
Yeah, it is -1. Good. So I'm going to, instead of writing I squared, I'm going to write -1. So the I squared turned to -1. I put them both in red so you know that that red thing turned to the other red thing. The I squared is the -1. Good job, thanks. Okay, so let's simplify this again. This is 66 minus 100, come on, 107i. And then 35 times the -1 is really a minus 35 now. And so finally, we may combine this piece with this piece. So 66 minus 35, which gives us 31. So we just combine those two yellow pieces into that yellow piece. And then we have minus 107i. Okay. Any questions on this part? Okay. Let's write that in. 31 minus 107i. Hopefully I remember that. 31 minus 107i. 31 minus 107. Oh, where are my letters? I. Okay. Submit. Yes. And it says we're correct, as we expected. Okay, and then they give you an explanation just in case. But let's do another one. Let's do 3 problems. Now, if you already know how to do this and you already got the hang of it from the first example that I wrote really slowly, you can feel free to keep working on it. You don't have to just listen forever if you already understand it. But I do know that my feedback said to do more examples, so that's what I'm going to do. All right, so once again, we're gonna FOIL this. Maybe if I write with my finger, it'll be better. It'll just be messier, but at least it'll be faster. Okay, so we're gonna FOIL this again, but I don't see 2 parentheses bits. I see something squared. So I'm gonna rewrite this so that we can FOIL it. So instead of -2 plus 3i squared, I'm gonna write over here, because that's where I have space, -2 plus 3i times -2 plus 3i. Because something squared is just itself times itself. So I rewrote it out. All right, so let's start FOILing it. FOILing it for the F, that stands for first. So we're doing the first numbers of the parentheses being multiplied together. We have -2 times -2. That gives us +4. The O in FOIL stands for outer. So that means those 2 because they're on the outsides of your parentheses. So we have -2 times 3i, which gives us -6i. Okay, and then now I'm gonna ask you guys to participate. You can just shout it out. I stands for inner, so I'm multiplying these 2. What do we get here?
-6i.
Great, yes. Thanks, Vanessa, -6i. And then L stands for last, so I'm gonna multiply these last 2, and then somebody shout out, what do those 2 multiply to be?
9i squared.
Yes, 9i squared, thank you. Okay, and then we just need to simplify this thing and we're good. So let's start by combining, actually I'll just still use black. Let's combine these 2 because they are like terms. So I'll start writing over here because that's where I have space. So we have a 4, and then we have -6i, that's -12i. And then the plus 9i squared. And then we can simplify the I squared portion. I'm just gonna circle it this time. I'm not gonna trace it because my finger is too thick for that. We have 4 minus 12i, and then plus 9, that I squared turns to a -1. So we have 4 minus 12i, and then 9 times -1 is -9. And finally, we can combine our real portions. The 4 and the -9 gives us -5. If I could just write it. Okay, -5 minus 12i. Oh my goodness, there. Writing is hard. I really miss my stylus. I'm gonna get it today. I don't have Amazon Prime, so I couldn't get it faster. But do you guys have any questions about this? No, okay. We're gonna do one more example. Remember, if you feel confident about this process already, just keep working. You don't have to listen, but I'm doing another example for those who need it, okay? So -5 minus 12i, let me enter that in. Okay, -5 minus 12i. I always feel like I'm gonna forget it before I finish typing it in. All right, let's do one more. Screenshot and start writing. So once again, we are going to FOIL this. Okay, come on, let me write. Okay, FOIL So we're going to do first -1 times -8. That's going to be +8. Actually, you know what? I'm going to write it higher because that way I'll have more space. So -1 times -8, that gives us a +8. Outer, those two, the outside ones. The -1 times a -6i, that gives us +6i. Inner, the ones on the very inside, next to those parentheses. -3i times -8, that is +24i. Gosh, writing is so slow, I apologize. And L stands for last, so the ones on the right. Our -3i and our -6i multiplied together gives us +18i squared. Okay. Now, let's combine our imaginary pieces. 8, this is the ugliest 8 I've written. It's not even loaded. There we go. Okay, so we got 6i plus 24i, that's plus 30i. I'm gonna go back to my stylus now. Okay, and then plus 18i squared. Okay. Now let's take this I squared and turn it into the -1 that is its true form. 8 plus 30i plus 18 times -1. Writing is so slow. Okay, now we're going to simplify this part. 8 plus 30i, and then 18 times -1 is -18. And last but not least, we may now combine the real portions. 8 minus 18, that's a -10. So those two yellow bits made that yellow bit. And then we have our plus 30i. Okay. Are there any questions on this one? Okay. If there are, feel free to interrupt me. So -10, so it always goes in front. What always goes in front? The real portion? Do you mean like the piece without I, the -10? Yeah, so it does because, let me highlight, or let me just underline right here. It tells us to write our expression in a plus bi form. So that means you want the piece that is real, so just the number, no I. You want the just number in the front, and then you want the I, the imaginary piece, in the back. So yeah, you would want the -10 in the front, always, yes. I wonder if I enter it on Delta Math, if they'll tell me I'm wrong. If I do 30i plus -10, I'll try it, because I don't care if I get it wrong. 30i minus 10. Let's see if it tells me I'm wrong. Oh, okay, well it tells me I'm right, because technically they're equivalent, they're equal, but in math, we want you to put it in a plus bi form, okay? So please do put it in a plus bi form. So the regular number first and the imaginary number in the back. Okay. Other questions? Alrighty, I'll stop the recording for multiplying.